Nordic expedition. That's an interesting title. But what will this expedition entail? How do I begin to describe this expedition? I know that it will take place across at least a 2-year period, due significantly to the Schengen visa restrictions. More about that later. We know that it will take us across the USA to the port of Baltimore, when that will be loaded onto a roll-on, roll-off ship to travel across the Atlantic to the country of my birth. But England is not a Nordic country, you would say, and yes, that's correct. But England will be the base camp outside of the Schengen area, from which we will enter and leave that zone. The expedition will take us to the Faroe Islands and Iceland in 2024, and in 2025 to the Scandinavian countries of Norway, Sweden and Finland. I hope to eventually reach Nordkapp in Norway, which is 71 degrees latitude and is further north than Tuktoyaktuk in the Northern Territories of Canada, which we reached in our 2022 expedition to the Arctic Ocean in Alaska. This will be our first expedition outside of North America, which will require more research, more regulations, and certainly more expensive diesel cost. But it will be the adventure, as they say, of a lifetime. The expedition begins in California, in Ventura County, not far from the hustle-bustle of Los Angeles, on a sunny and warm day in early March. The first leg of the expedition will see me leave California and travel 3,000 miles across the USA to Maryland. From the Pacific Ocean all the way to the Atlantic, across the Atlantic to the Irish Sea and to Liverpool, and then eventually down to Farley in Surrey. Pacific Ocean, and the beginning of my trip all the way to Iceland. The California desert is sometimes a very strange place, with humans creating weird and off-the-wall monuments. This one is in the middle of nowhere and is full of old shoes.
I'm stuck, I'm 6 feet
And then, in the middle of the Arizona desert, just as everything was going along so smoothly, suddenly it wasn't. The coolant temperature on Bat rose alarmingly, and I had to pull over to prevent him from overheating. Unbelievably, however, at the very next freeway off-ramp was a big truck repair shop, and after spending the night in their lot, the next day they confirmed my diagnosis that the fan clutch had gone bad. Fortunately, they had a seal and replaced it, and I was back on my way. On the eastern Arizona border, overnight temperatures at my free camp spot had plunged, and the following morning was a cold start for Bat.
Albuquerque, New Mexico. Has made it to Oklahoma. We're on our way east to Baltimore and eventually to the United Kingdom. But today we crossed out of Texas and into the great state of Oklahoma.
In Tennessee, I was able to stay with ex-California natives and longtime friends back from when I was a member of the Southern California Land Rover Club. It was great to see them again. My time in Tennessee was in spring, and the cherry blossoms were at their house were blooming. It was really pretty, as you can see.
West Virginia! Leaving Tennessee and going to West Virginia.
After a 3,000-mile plus journey across the USA, all the way to Baltimore in Maryland, it was time for some spa treatment for Bat before being dropped off at the shipping dock for the journey to the UK. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression, so you just can't arrive looking scruffy, can you?
Well, here we are at the port office, waiting for it to open. This is the initial stage of delivery to the shipping dock. I have to get a guide to proceed further and sign some additional paperwork, so we'll see what happens. Bat's looking nice and shiny. Everything's off in the unit. Let's hope it's a good day. Following my port escort into the port of Baltimore. The guy in the silver truck here is Big John, and he's going to see me on to the next stage of the process. Check out that military equipment.
After dropping off Bat at the port, I travelled to my hotel in Baltimore and spent the next 36 hours or so exploring the city before boarding my overnight flight to London.
Well, I arrived in England, staying at my sister's house. As you can see, it's not your traditional California property. If I stand next to that door, you'll see that people were a lot smaller in the olden days than they are today. And you also might notice a rather strange roof. That is a thatched roof made of reeds from a very specific part of the UK. Just settling in. Had a nice pub lunch today with my sister, which was delightful. And patiently waiting for Bact to arrive. It hasn't even been put on the ship yet, but all in due course. Anyway, that's the quick update from the UK.